Welcome to APsprayarts. Hey everyone, this is going to be a similar painting to something you've already seen on my channel, but me talking about it is going to be different and the painting looks a little different, so I hope you stick around. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, tell all your friends about it, help me get big so that I can make a whole lot of better videos for you and keep this thing going. So of course right here I'm doing some planets. This one's kind of like an Earth-like planet, land and water. So the one thing I wanted to say during this video is that this is one of my first ones in 2024. I usually take a couple months off because of cold weather, and my studio is in the garage. I don't have heat out there. We keep the door open so that the dogs can go in and out into the fenced area, and they have a place to get away from the wind and the cold. But they don't stay out too long. They're also indoor dogs, so this is a place where they can hide away from the wind right away. It's warmer than it is outside. So don't get at me for saying that there's no heat. It is warmer. But normally while painting, I do things, especially when I'm first getting out there, I don't think about shaking the cans enough, which I did in this, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And I'm just getting back into it, so simple things skip my mind. Like changing caps. See that white there? Get all splotchy and stuff. Is that because I didn't shape the can enough? Is it because I didn't change the cap? I changed the cap much later on and found out, yeah, it was the cap. I should have changed it, probably had some dry paint inside of it, and so it was coming out all splotchy. So what I've learned this time around is to not take it to heart so much. I rolled with it, and I'll show you that too coming up. I made some mistakes, splotchy paints, paint dripping because it collected on the cap, all kinds of silly, stupid things that I wouldn't have done if I had been painting constantly. So one goal for this year is to not take that winter break. I got to get the center wall up to block the dogs into one side of the garage, me on the other side of the garage, get the heaters in here, some ventilation, so that I can paint all year round. And you might have just noticed a mess up in the video there. I did this during a TikTok live, so my video was messed up a little bit. So sorry for any mistakes in the video, but you know what? I'm accepting that too. I'm a one-man show. So I've done black, and here I come in with a little bit of kind of darker blue. Probably too much blue, but it's space. I don't know what's out there. So right here, see those little blotches from the white paint? That technically is a mistake. It would have driven me nuts. But what I did was I got a sponge and I tried to even it out a little bit so that it doesn't look as much a mistake and maybe it looks like space stuff. And then I come in with the flicking of the fingers to put in stars. Some of my stars get a little thick, they're a little bit big, but you know what, I roll with that too. And there I throw in some yellow to cover up those little mistakes. So what I've learned in this painting is that you just gotta roll with it. You gotta do stuff. Here I'm coming in with some clouds for a kind of a nebula thing. And that paint actually stopped working. I don't know if it was the cap or it was really low in the paint can, so it could have just been running out of the paint. But then I just flipped the script and I went with something else. So a bunch of different colors in there, trying to get a nice little nebula thing going. So yeah, how many mistakes have you made in your life? Probably more than you can count, probably more than you can even remember. But we all make mistakes. We try to learn from those mistakes and go on. Did I learn something in this painting? Yeah, I learned. If it's going to be splotchy, change the cap. Clean the caps. I got paint thinner and mineral spirits and other stuff here. I can try and paint my caps so that, or clean my caps, sorry. There, made a mistake, just rolling with it. So clean my caps, and then that way I can reuse them again. Or I can order some more. they're not that expensive. I think the most I've seen caps for is like 68 cents each. So that's not that bad. If you're using Rust-Oleum paint, you can usually get them to send you free ones. So bonus there. And if you buy them in bulk, you can get a whole bunch. I did hear a thing about Tom Welly Wells getting a bunch from Sketch. So, you know, if Sketch, you got some extra caps you want to send, hi. So you've probably seen my, hopefully you've seen my Firefly Serenity painting. And so this is kind of same thing, only a much bigger scale. This is a 16 by 20, usually they're 11 by 14. So I thought, instead of just doing 2 planets, maybe I'd have this one kind of more like a meteor shooting planet thing going. And if you've seen another recent video, I don't use fire that much. So here I am using a hairdryer to try and dry it. And it was working great, so I just went with that. Now you see that yellow mark on my Earth type planet? That one was a bit big. Ooh, here comes another mistake. Oh, those black blotches. Somehow I had dripped black paint onto my stencil. I don't know how. It must have just dripped from the can when I was holding it over top. So I dabbed it out a little bit, and then I took some paint and made more nebula clouds. So kind of built up the clouds a little better. So it was kind of a little thing. And then I came in with some white and tried to do the same thing. And here we go back with the stencil. I had cut it out of the page this time so that I wouldn't have all those black blotches. And then I had to put down paper to make sure I wasn't spraying outside of my stencil. So for that, you want to make sure that your paint is dry so that you can put everything down. If you gotta wait 10-15 minutes for it to dry, do it. Don't make mistakes. But if you do make mistakes, you're gonna figure it out and you're gonna go with it anyway. So here we go, filling in Serenity. My paint was a little, it's getting near the end of the can, so it was a little random with its spray. Sometimes you have to turn it upright and spray it. It'll get a good flow, and then you can bend your can down a little bit. And I threw in a little bit of gray in there as well. It didn't come out the way I wanted it to. It was getting colder, and I didn't shake the can enough. So that's the gray one, my fault there. So yeah, back to the Earth planet. You see that big yellow streak? That was not planned. It was not supposed to be like that. But you know what? Screw it. It's there. If some random person is looking at the painting, they might think it's a little weird, but they're not gonna put me up on the stake and whatever. My jet stream there didn't go the way I wanted it to, but that's okay. I did splatter a little bit of yellow paint. You see me just there, I tried with my thumb to try and get it out by the planet. And that got messed up. But there was no point in stressing out. I'd already fixed some mistakes, so I was going to fix this one. I did stop the video, so you don't get to see it. But what I did was I covered those black dots with a little bit of, or those yellow dots, with a little bit of black paint on my finger, and put in some extra dots, scratched out a highlight. They became asteroids flying out. You'll see it in the finished product. I also splattered some yellow here on Serenity, and I had to cover it up again to do the back engine part, to cover up the jet stream. So I also threw the black paint onto the yellow spots. So it comes out pretty good, except for the one gray spot that I left. So yes, the whole gray paint earlier was pointless because I just covered it up with black. And I didn't want to do the gray again because it wasn't coming out right. Use a paint pen for my Siggy in the bottom. And here's the finished product. See those asteroids? So don't stress over your mistakes. That's all I can say.